Hi, this is Team 6. Today we're going to be talking about the Senior Fitness Test. The Senior Fitness Test is a physical performance tool to assess general fitness in older adults. It measures fitness and physical parameters that are associated with functional ability. 6 functional tasks are included within the test, which are strength, endurance, balance, agility, and flexibility. Think of it like the NFL Combine, just for older adults. The test is for men and women between the ages of 60 to 94, and it is a reliable and valid test in community-dwelling older adults and those with dementia. We do the Senior Fitness Test in order to assess mobility-related fitness parameters and to measure specific physical aspects necessary for older adults to perform ADLs. The test evaluates and monitors the physical status of older adults and can identify weaknesses that can be treated before they result in future limitations and complications. The test measures different functional fitness parameters necessary to perform ADLs. These include upper and lower body strength, aerobic endurance, upper and lower body flexibility, agility and dynamic balance, and BMI. Your fitness test can be completed in 20 to 30 minutes for an individual or 60 to 90 minutes for a group of participants. Before performing the test, participants should do 5 to 8 minutes of warm-up and stretching. Some examples of these exercises are marching in place, arm swings, head turns, calf stretches, and hamstring stretches. We will shortly demonstrate how to perform the test in order. Just note if the 6-minute walk test is substituted for the 2-minute step test, it should be administered last. Before conducting the test, make sure you've accounted for patient safety. You should screen their medical history, make sure they're wearing appropriate footwear and clothing, and keep the testing area free of obstacles that may interfere and potentially harm them. The purpose of the chair stand test is to assess lower body strength. For this test, you'll need a chair and a stopwatch. Instruct the patient to sit in the middle of the chair with their feet flat on the floor and arms crossed against their chest. On the signal go, have the participant rise to a full stand and then return to a seated position. Before testing, the patient can practice 1 or 2 stands. Encourage them to complete as many full stands as possible in 30 seconds. The purpose of the arm curl test is to assess upper body strength. For this test, you'll need a chair, a 5-pound dumbbell for women, or an 8-pound dumbbell for men. Have the participant sit on a chair with feet flat on the floor. On the signal go, the participant curls the weight through full range of motion from full extension to full flexion as many times as possible in 30 seconds. Remember, the upper arm must remain still throughout the test. Bracing the elbow against the body helps to stabilize the upper arm. The purpose of the chair sit and reach test is to assess lower body flexibility. For this test, you'll need a chair and a tape measure. Have the patient bend 1 foot flat on the floor and stretch out the other foot with toes pointing towards the ceiling. Instruct them to reach out with both arms and try to touch their toes. Measure the distance with the tape measure. The purpose of the back scratch test is to assess upper body flexibility. For this test, you'll need a tape measure. Have the patient stand and reach one arm over their shoulder, palm down, and the other behind their back, palm up. Instruct the patient to try and touch their middle fingers together. Measure the distance between their fingers if they cannot touch. The purpose of the 8-foot up and go test is to assess agility and dynamic balance. For this test, you'll need a chair, a stopwatch, and a cone. Place the cone 8 feet away from the chair. Time how long it takes for the patient to get up, walk around the cone, and sit back down. If the patient takes more than 9 seconds, they fall into the risk zone. The purpose of the 6-minute walk test is to assess aerobic endurance. For this test, you'll need a stopwatch, 2 cones, a tape measure, and a chair. Measure how far the patient can walk in 6 minutes. Use cones to help keep distance if you do not have a rolling step measure. The 2-minute step test is an alternate aerobic endurance test for use when space limitations or weather prohibits the 6-minute walk test. For this test, you'll need a stopwatch, tape measure, masking tape, and step counter. Use the tape measure to mark the level that corresponds to midway between the patella and the iliac crest. You can put tape on the wall next to the patient to mark this. On the signal go, the participant begins stepping in place as many times as possible in the 2-minute period. Although both knees must be raised to the correct height, only count the number of times the right knee reaches the target. When the proper knee height cannot be maintained, ask the participant to slow down or to stop until they can regain proper form, but keep the time running. Presented here are the standards associated with maintaining mobility and independence based on the different measures of the senior fitness test. Next, we will discuss two key studies related to the reliability and validity of the senior fitness test. Brickley and Jones conducted a study designed to develop and validate criterion standards that estimate the level of fitness needed by older adults to remain physically independent into later life. A total of 82 participants were considered for data analysis. Validity coefficients were quite high, approaching or exceeding the recommended threshold of 0.8, meaning that senior fitness test standards generally had better than an 80% success rate in predicting functional ability and physical independence. Based on that, we can conclude that the senior fitness test battery of test items with its accompanying criterion standards provides a unique and previously unavailable method for evaluating physical fitness in older adults and for planning exercise interventions that target areas of weakness. Sardina et al. Conducted a cross-sectional study to develop fitness standards to predict independent physical functioning into later life. A total of 3,074 participants were considered for data analysis. ROC curve analysis showed that the fitness tests were good in diagnosing physical independence. For reference, an area under the curve score of 0.7 to 0.8 is acceptable, while 0.8 to 0.9 is excellent. The higher the area under the curve, the better the model is at distinguishing between patients who meet the fitness cutoff and those who do not. And so the senior fitness test provides a good field tool that allows the identification of fitness levels that older adults need to achieve in order to be physically independent later in life. Overall, we feel that the senior fitness test is easy to administer and score, requires minimal equipment, and is good for predicting functional independence. However, it does require some specific tools and takes some time to perform.